Ladies and gentlemen, welcome home. Introducing Marcus Jackson. Marcus, thank you for coming.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. Marcus is a Morehouse grad, a Wall Street grad. He is a real estate investor. He is a managing partner of his own private equity firm that he recently started, Vesset Capital.
Yeah.
And he's literally, I guess, leaving a big footprint on the Philly market. I would call you a disruptor, but you tell me, can you, I guess, break down a little bit of what you do, how you got started, why you decided to make that move? Because you came from Wall Street. When did you decide to switch it up?
Definitely. That's a good one. First, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
I guess when you refer to disrupting the Philadelphia market in general, I guess that's kind of like one of our taglines. The whole reason why we created Vesset Capital and got into private equity was simply to change the way things have been done. When I say that, meaning the way ownership has typically been accessed. Changing the way equity has been accessed, and through private equity, and kind of exposing ownership opportunities to minorities and those who typically don't have access to ownership. That's kind of why we started doing what we're doing.
So that's good. So like, what is private equity? Like, I think our folks probably, some folks don't even know exactly what private equity is.
Yeah, just to kind of simplify it, it's mainly, there's a managing partner or an organizer, let's say, that will find or source a good opportunity. And they would then seek or offer the opportunity for others to be a part of that particular deal.
Got it.
So if there's a deal, let's say that, my company or I would find that we feel is beneficial to others, we would then offer the opportunity, to either the public, if if that's the jurisdiction you fall under, or through private partnerships or relationships.
Okay, cool. So I think about that as the other side of like the public market. So like if I want to invest in stocks, cool. But if I want to invest with you in a house, I get to jump in this private market.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Okay, so that's that in short, I guess.
Yeah, separate from crowdfunding where there's like the public or anyone can just invest in a large deal per se. This is like more of like private placement, like private relationship based investing.
Cool. So then how do you find your investors? Like, where does that all come from?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, we don't necessarily solicit to the public. Just through SEC regulations, we're not,
allowed to.
Right, exactly. Unless we're accredited and, we have the jurisdiction.
So, exactly.
So a lot of it's through current relationships, social media, through education, where people would then reach out to us. And just word of mouth.
Got it.
A lot of our investors, they invest with us due to someone who was already currently investing with us. And so they would refer someone to us per se.
That makes sense. I get excited about talking to you, or I get excited about talking to any real estate investors or anybody in the real estate industry, because I feel like, 90% of the millionaires created in the world became millionaires through real estate, right?
Yes.
So is that why you got in? Was it the money, or was it something else? Like, why'd you guys decide to pivot? Because you were probably doing well in Wall Street, right?
Yeah,
so like, tell me your story.
Yeah, that's a great question. I guess kind of growing up, not to take it too far back, but I've always had the desire for more. I've always had the desire to, I guess, allow others to achieve more as well. And through my passion for real estate, it's always been a passion since I was, around 10, 11 years old. I just knew that being on Wall Street it was a great achievement, don't get me wrong, but it just wasn't my final destination. I seen my parents, retire, at age 50 and 55.
Oh, dope.
And though that could have been my path,
shout out mom and dad.
Yeah, shout out mom and dad. Though that could have been my path, I feel like God had a different calling for my life.
Cool.
And I had the understanding and the knowledge to do so.
Yeah.
I feel it was a little selfish, I guess, for me to stay on Wall Street, knowing that I had the knowledge to allow others to become financially free through real estate investing.
That's cool. Yeah. So you're opening up avenues for other folks behind you. 10 years old. So what happened at 10 that you were like, oh, real estate? Because I have like a 13, like, my parents invested in real estate. They bought their first multifamily property. That's that's what resonates for me as like how I got into real estate. But
Yeah.
I don't know what was it for you at 10?
That's a good question. I mean, I don't by any means come from money or come from a background of successful real estate entrepreneurs in my family at all. For me, my uncle worked very hard and very, very hard working for others
Okay.
on like their home projects and like home remodels.
Cool.
My mom saved a bit of money when she was, 15, 16, and ended up buying her first house,
Okay.
co-signing through the family. So I think honestly, I think they're just God's desire that he placed on my heart.
That's
It's
dope.
nothing that, I didn't have a mentor or anything
Right.
a rich person say, hey, go do this. It was just, God just ordained this in my heart, to be honest.
I love it.
And I just kind of like walked with it.
I love that. I love that. So you call yourself a disruptor. A lot of investors are buying into homes right now. So I think it was like 15% of the homes sold in the top 40 markets or something like that were bought by investors. What do you guys say? Like, what you guys pitch as a disruptor? Like, how do you feel you've changed or you've changed the space or come into the space and disrupted it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, ideally, if you look at the news, you would see that a lot of investors are just buying up homes, and which then makes it harder for the everyday home buyer to purchase a home and be a part of the American dream. Though on paper, you could say we're also doing the same thing. We're investors that are buying up homes.
Right.
But in hindsight, we're a real estate investment company, and we're exposed every deal that we've purchased, every deal that we own, every deal that we develop. There is multiple people that's partnered with us as well, right?
Cool.
So it's not just myself and my business partner just buying up homes and making it harder for those to access the American dream. There's 5, 6, or 7 other people. Let's say, for example, on each deal that we're buying, that's also building wealth for their family as well. So if you look at it, I would say we're kind of on the other side, on the flip side of the news.
Right.
And actually helping to increase wealth amongst minorities.
Right. Which is cool because that's the reality is like a lot of those demos or a lot of those new homes that are being built by investors are, I mean, essentially we say displacing or, whatever, a lot of the minority community, but you as a minority investor, to me, I look at that as like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I want to see somebody like you investing in the community.
Right. I guess you could say like we're part of the problem, we're also gentrifying our neighborhoods, but essentially we're doing everything that we can. Like 1, how we're acquiring it.
Right.
2, who we're hiring and, who we're working with during the development, which is also minorities. And then 3, on the outsell, we take considerations.
Right. Okay, which is cool. And there's an education piece in there, right? So when you guys switch to, okay, we're investing, we're developing, do you guys do renovations and development or, okay. Where did you get so you said your uncle, but like, that first property,
Yeah,
like,
that's a good question.
What was the first property? What was the first investment? Did you lose your shirt? Did you win big? Like, how did it all work out?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think our very, very first investment was actually an FHA, first time home buying, 3% down.
Cool.
Program.
3.5%
down as you
cool.
know, as the expert. We took advantage of that. A lot of people don't know, you buy a home, 3.5% down, single family home, you're part of the American dream. But we understood that you can buy up to 4 units with that same 3.5% down. So knowing that, having that knowledge is we spend X amount of money less than the 25% down an investor would to buy the same exact property.
Heck yeah.
And we can use those 2 to 3 units to pay off the mortgage.
Yep.
We understood that we can achieve cash flow and financial freedom.
Cool.
Or at least to start.
Yeah.
So buying that first property, we bought 3 units in New Jersey, 3.5% down.
Cool.
At the time, actually, to be honest, I didn't have the capital to purchase that property, even though I had a job on Wall Street. It looks good on paper.
Whoa, yeah.
I just didn't have it.
Right.
And I needed to turn to my network to ads.
Okay.
So that's kind of where Vesset was birthed after, because I was buying a property that was going to produce $1,600 a month in positive cash flow.
Okay.
So I reached out to someone and offered him the opportunity to partner with me on this project.
Cool. Yeah.
It was an opportunity, right? Because I offered him, X amount, north of 15%.
Okay. That's a good,
cash on cash, which he wasn't going to get in the bank.
Yep.
To partner with me on this project.
Okay.
So he was able to lend me the capital. I purchased the project, and then it clicked in my head that,
boom,
this can make sense.
So that's where the
Vesset kind of
dope.
As far as the experience, so that project was turnkey.
Okay.
So the development experience, the renovation experience, nothing was learned.
Wow.
After that, my first project was a 3-unit new construction project in Philadelphia.
Okay.
We hired a developer.
Where at? What area in Philly?
Grace Ferries.
Okay. Yep. So Grace Ferries is just outside of Graduate Hospital, which is not Graduate Hospital, I should say Point Breeze, which is like a very up and coming area in the Philly market, which I mean is literally like booming right now. Well,
it's growing. A lot of people don't really invest there because they just don't know.
Right. Yep.
For us, I mean, we own multiple properties there. I mean, after we bought this property, purchase price was $165,000.
Okay.
We got entitlements to develop 3 units.
Cool.
It appraised for over 580, over 600.
Cool.
So that's our pocket.
Right. That's solid. That's solid. But what most people don't know is like, it sounds good. Like 160, it appraises for close to 6. But you still got to put some money in there too. Like it's not like he just took that, extra. What's that? $450? Like no. He's got to put some money into it. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the renovation development was over 200.
Right.
But I mean, we're not getting too big into numbers right now. Then there's carrying costs, there's interest payments.
Yep.
So that margin is not as big as it looks on paper.
Okay. And did you do that hard money or like
hard money?
Got it. Okay. Cool.
But through that experience, kind of going back to your question on the knowledge I learned to now understand how to develop properties myself.
Right.
We hired a developer. We were still living in New York at the time.
Oh, wow.
And then I realized that no one actually cares about your project more than you. And
not at all.
So I guess every weekend I would drive down from New York to Philadelphia.
Okay.
And I would just learn and pay attention.
Good.
And then at some point we had to fire him. Then I took over.
Oh, wow.
And then I kind of forced myself to learn everything because it was my project.
Yeah.
And I had investors.
You have to be hands-on,
right?
Especially, I mean, like when it comes to these contractors, I've gone through it.
Yeah.
You've probably gone through it plenty of times at this point where it's like you have to be hands-on and manage your project. Otherwise, it's...
Yeah.
Hey, you lose your shirt, which is why I asked. So then from there, did it just snowball or like where are you guys at now? How many projects are we looking at?
Completed close to 8. Around 5 ongoing.
Cool.
Some single family luxury renovations in Fishtown and Graduate Hospital and Italian Market. Okay. And then we have like a larger multi-family development.
Okay.
That we're planning as well. So
how big is that one?
It's just it's not just, but it's 6 units.
It's not. It's just 6 units.
No.
Like,
I wanted to correct myself because that's very humbling for us.
Yeah.
This is like
that's cool.
This would be our largest project, and it's very large for us, and we're very thankful.
That's exciting. So, and then there's like a leverage piece, right? So like, I mean, it becomes how leveraged are you guys, and then how deep are you? I mean, like, how does it work? The whole private equity thing, I'm circling back a little bit, but then how does that work in terms of leverage, investing? What do you promise to your investors? When do you pay out? Like all those things. I'm just asking those questions because I think a lot of people want to get into investing in real estate, but I think most people think, oh, I want to invest in real estate. I can give Marcus, $100,000 and he'll do this property and cool, boom, he'll give me whatever back. Like, how does that all shake out? How does that all work?
It does shake out, surprisingly. So what sets us a little different or apart is that most private equity firms, you give them capital and you get a return.
Yep.
For us, that works out. You're able to build wealth through us, but does that actually achieve the goal of reducing the equity and ownership gap?
Okay.
The answer is no, because you're just getting a return.
Right.
And with that money, yes, you can make decisions on what to do after, but at the end of the day, we want to increase ownership amongst minorities and others as well.
Okay.
And through that, we offer equity ownership opportunities.
Okay.
So for that example where an individual would invest, let's say $100,000,
yeah,
we would then find the project for them, renovate the project for them, and then rent it out, and then we'll share the distributions.
Oh, wow.
So that individual could invest $100,000, don't necessarily have to have the knowledge or the pipeline to find the project,
right,
and then still achieve ownership through us.
Wow.
So it's possible.
So you guys are taking on the risk and essentially doing the hard work, doing the heavy lifting, and then splitting the difference with your invest. That's huge. So yeah, that's really huge. I mean, because I have investors who every day are asking for expertise on like, hey, I want to get my first flip. You know, I'm thinking about it. I want to do what you did on that first property. And there's so much that goes, you had to come down from New York, you know?
Yeah. It's a lot to go down into it.
Exactly.
But we have in-house construction. Everything that we do is in-house.
Okay.
We don't outsource,
cool.
Like our renovations or anything like that. So we control the timeline in certain aspects.
Okay. Oh, I like this. Okay. So I can invest. She said she does too. So I can invest, give you a couple of dollars. Cool. We're in this project together. And now I'm cash flowing.
Essentially, yeah. We'll take it from, and this is very like, not a
we're just,
process, typically we offer those opportunities for folks who haven't invested with us in the past from the debt side of things.
Yeah.
After we kind of build a relationship with you, then if something comes about, we'll offer you that opportunity. But essentially we'll find the project through our off-market pipeline.
Okay.
We will secure the financing because we have relationships with the lenders, and we'll also renovate the project. Okay. So from your case, you can be as hands-off as you want to be.
That's very cool. That's very cool. I love this. I'm kind of interested. I'm like, oh, okay. Okay. So then how do you scale? So now I've got 5, 10 properties that I'm renting out with 5, 10 people. And, you know, I obviously from you guys' standpoint, like, okay, cool. $1,600 a month for a few properties. You're doing well too. But they're doing well. What's next? What's the next level? After 6 units, where do you go? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, ideally, it really depends on like the cycle of like what's happening. Like in Philadelphia, of course, every market goes through the cycle, as you know. I mean,
recession's coming. Maybe here. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Which, you know, when you're buying at a discounted rate already.
Yeah. You're good.
It'll be okay.
Yeah. Yep.
But ideally, we want to continue to expand, do larger projects. So, you know, at 6, and then we get to 30, and then 40.
Cool.
And then expand, and then ideally, we want to expand to different markets as well. So,
got it.
Have a Vesset here, and then Florida, Texas.
Okay.
And then we just launched the construction company this past week.
Cool.
So we want to have different branches in different states where we're now servicing and doing other people's developments and projects.
Got it.
Do a service.
Got it. So you're essentially franchising your construction expertise.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah. So we launch here, then launch in different states. And
got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trucks, the billboard, you know.
The whole thing. I love this. So Florida next, Texas. So I'm excited for this. And then do you guys have, I mean, you guys are Wall Street guys, so you guys have 5-10 year projections. Like, what's this look like 5 years from now?
Yeah, it's interesting. We haven't actually, like, we're very much so like in the moment. Kind of like
I respect that.
Developers.
Yep.
So we actually don't have much of I mean, we have ideas of like where we want to expand.
Yep.
We have certain pockets in different states that we know, you know, we're going to break into, but ideally, like this is not our business. Like this, you know, very much so God's business, and it's something that's like, you know, if you want God to laugh, you know, tell him your plan. Yeah,
that's dope. I like that. I'm gonna use that.
So in the moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna use that. I like that. Okay. I'm along the way, learning wise. Aside from moving from New York, what have you learned along the process that you're going, okay, as an investor, as a private equity firm, would you have adjusted along the way, especially for like that first time investor or those folks that are doing it by themselves? Any learnings, any like takeaways, I would love.
Yeah, I think just kind of understanding like what hats you wear.
Okay.
And looking for like interns like early on. I
Cool.
found myself becoming like a private equity, managing partner where I'm focused on investor relations. I'm supposed to be raising capital.
Yep.
But then I ended up getting my GC license. So now I'm a licensed GC and I can do up my own projects.
Got it.
But then I'm also supposed to be raising
capital.
So I can find myself very, very busy and I don't set a lot of time aside for my like relationships.
Gotcha.
So I just want to, I guess I would suggest that you hire interns or you look to outsource a lot of like the day-to-day so you can then focus on like the concrete things on why the business even started.
Right. You can't wear every hat.
Right.
You can't wear every hat. That's real. That's real. And you take on too much, you need to essentially clone yourself.
Yeah, which is, not possible.
Yeah, it's not, unfortunately. And then do you and your business partner kind of do similar things, or like, how's that work out?
So he focuses on a lot of like disposition, acquisition.
Okay. What's disposition?
Like once the product. So pretty much my business partner will source the acquisition, source the product.
Yep.
Search the market, find out where we're going to break into.
Okay.
He will then hand it to me.
Yep.
Since I'm a licensed contractor.
Yep.
I will then, execute the development and the construction.
Yep.
Then I'll like pass it back to him. He'll make sure we have the right agent.
Yep.
The right team, the right things set in place, the right price that we're going to sell it at for the disposition, so for the exit.
Gotcha.
Or if we're going to refi, so forth and so on. So he kind of helps a lot with
the back end,
the day to day, and I'm here.
The front end, your boots on the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that's very cool. I love that. For that investor, it's dope to know that costly mistake. Any other learnings that we should know getting into the business? I love the fact that you said FHA was your way of getting in the business. Is there one other learning that you would give for that investor or for the folks who want to invest with you?
Mm-hmm.
How does that work? Do we need to get connected to a friend, or is there a possibility? Like, how's that all shake out?
As far as like, I guess more learning mistakes or tips. I think the FHA, 203. Well, the FHA, and there's also an FHA 203K, which I'm sure we can talk to them about. But honestly, if you can find a mentor, I would suggest one. I still don't have a mentor, like someone I can like reach out to kind of expand. Cool. I'm searching, but
gotta get you a mentor in the biz. Absolutely, yeah.
The FHA, a potential mentor. And, a lot of networking. Before this business even started, every, 3 times a week, we're going to real estate events in New York after work. Like, it was a lot of hustle.
Got it. Are you guys in a RIA here too?
One more time?
A RIA here too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay, cool.
But yeah, just a lot of YouTube education. I would say, what's the top 3 books that I've read? I would be honest and say I haven't finished, one of them. But I would say a lot of YouTube. And just kind of, you have to fall in love with it and just kind of not give yourself a choice.
That's dope.
Like when I left Wall Street, it wasn't because I had $100,000, $200,000 saved. Yeah. I didn't have actually much saved at all. And I was taking a significant pay cut. So you really have to fall in love with it. Yeah.
It's a hustle.
Yeah, it's a hustle.
It's a hustle. And the FHA 203K, I think, is a great way to get into the business too. So the FHA 203K, you put the 3.5% down, and then on the 203K side, you get a check on the back end where you can rehab the property. And I mean, you can't call him because he's busy, but you can call a GC. Well, you have to have a GC before the end of the project. The GC will then take care of, or he'll get a check for doing the rehab. So that's another great way of getting into investing.
Right. And that rehab cost will go to your mortgage. So you'll pay it off over time, whereas Seven having to pay it off up front.
Exactly.
So it's beneficial.
Yeah. It's huge. I love that. I think we need to I'm trying to make sure that we have more real estate conversations on the pod. It is the Homemade Podcast. I'm a real estate agent. I want to make sure we stay connected to folks like you. But we need to have you back and talk a little bit more about your next projects, the GC side, and then I'm still interested right now, like rehab versus just building. What would you rather as a GC?
Oh, as a GC or as an investor? Like
at both.
Well, as an investor, I would definitely say renovation. Having an existing structure is a lot simpler, especially when it comes to the permitting process with the city. New construction is
a different animal.
It's nice, it's exciting, but I would definitely say renovations are bread and butter. As a developer, as a GC, I enjoy the renovation projects, to be honest.
Cool.
But I definitely love new construction as well.
Yeah.
Because you're taking something from nothing, you have a lot more to work with.
It's the vision piece. Like, I love that. I mean, I personally love that. And I think that's part of why I got into the business is like, I love seeing, Philly, even since you've been here for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
It's a whole different place.
Yeah.
I feel like you talk about Grace Ferry, it's a different area than it was. It was Point Breeze, now it's Grace Ferry.
Right.
So it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, we're excited. A lot of beautiful things are coming to Philadelphia, especially with like affordable housing initiatives that the city has planned. We're really trying to get our toes in affordable housing development and like helping the city achieve their mission of providing more affordable housing to Philadelphia.
Necessary.
So ideally, like in the more immediate, as you mentioned about like our outlook, we definitely see ourselves becoming like affordable housing developers.
I love that.
And kind of like working with the city and subsidies and grants and the government and stuff.
The go-to for the city.
Yeah, exactly.
I love it. I appreciate you. My Capper brother, my Morehouse brother. We got to have you back so we can talk about some more projects. Then you got to walk us through each of the projects.
Okay.
Like what's going on.
Definitely.
Like legit. My old partner, we have a couple going on. I'm excited to see what you guys have because they put out some crazy product. And you're working on something of your own too. So we definitely, we got to talk about that. So next time, I appreciate you.
Of course.
Let's get it. Sessions.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I guess another note if you...
Yeah,
you
go ahead. Wait, hold on. I need all your info.
Okay, yes. My Instagram, my personal Instagram is invest with MJ. Yep. My business Instagram is Vesset, Vesset Ventures.
Okay.
And then the website is Vesset, Vesset Capital.com. So Vesset Capital.
And what's the new business?
The new business is VC Design and Build. It's under Vesset Construction. So it's all under like...
all under one umbrella.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
But for like investors, if you're just kind of like curious about investing in home ownership, on vessetcapital.com, there's an inquire button. So we can kind of stay in contact on there.
So I'm doing I don't know if it's going to be a first-time home buyer seminar, but I'm going to do a home buyer seminar in September.
Okay.
So maybe we can get you guys out. It'll be in Chestnut Hill.
Okay.
I'll get you the info. If you guys can make it, that'd be dope.
Okay. From
an investor standpoint, let's do it. If we can get you on the books. I know you guys are busy.
Okay, no, I'm sure I can make time. This is impactful work. I prefer to make time for stuff like that.
Cool. I love it. I appreciate you.
Definitely. Thank you for having me.
Thanks, bro. Sessions.